Hi guys, Elle here, Ellen Artemis. Say hi, baby. Hi, baby. Artie's gonna join us today. I know I haven't made a video in a little while. I took last week off, took some time to read and play with my new decks and rejuvenate and re-inspire a little bit. But I am back and I have like 2 whole days with nothing to do, so I'm definitely gonna make some fun videos. But I thought I'd jump back in with sort of a fun video, something I haven't done before. It's one of those haul videos where I just sort of show off the shit you bought. 'Cause why not? It's fun. I won't go off on a whole rant on like spiritual consumerism or anything like that. It's all in good fun. I got some interesting jewelry to show you guys, definitely some amazing books, and even a few new decks. Yeah, that's right. I guess I lied in my one. I made another video, right? My a collection update. I was like, I'm not buying any more decks for like the rest of the year. Please. I lied. I'm sorry, I lied. So actually some of this stuff was kind of a bit of a reward for myself, because I followed through with this channel. I'm proud of myself. It was part of the reason why I decided to make this channel itself was to help me overcome this insane fear that I have of public speaking. Like, I would rather stab myself in the gut and slowly bleed out than talk and articulate thoughts in front of people. And this right now, like when that little red light is on that camera, it makes me feel the exact same way. It stirs up all those fears and judgment and talking in front of people. I don't know, it's terrible. I'm proud of myself for pushing through and being able to do this. I had to talk recently in front of some people and teach, and having this YouTube thing behind me and that experience, oh my god, it's helped so much. So part of, I guess, my reward for getting through was buying myself some treats that I'm going to share with you right now. So yeah, I love watching other people's videos like this. It gives me ideas, you know, things I want to get. What are you interested in? And I think it's cool, you know, if you're a subscriber of mine, you probably share at least some of my interests. So yeah, here we go. I'll show you guys my goodies. Okay, so let's jump right in with a few new pieces of jewelry that I've gotten. Okay, this is not a new piece of jewelry. This is the tattered remains of an old pendant that I had forever, and I loved it so much. It's a quartz crystal. Well, it was a quartz crystal. I guess it still is a quartz crystal, but it was a crystal pendant with a Wunjo rune carved into it. So sweet, so simple. Oh my god, I absolutely loved it. Had it forever. Couldn't tell you where I found it in the first place. But yeah, I dropped it and it broke into a million pieces, and I shed a tear for my beautiful necklace. Anyway, I went on the hunt to try and find a replacement for it. I had never really seen these anywhere, but I did come across someone who makes them, and they're selling them on, you see that? They're selling them on eBay. It wasn't up for bid or anything, it was just a buy it now kind of thing. And they didn't have the entire foot arc. What they do have up there now, I'll put a link or something below to it, is a bunch of different crystals with various runes carved into them. They didn't have the whole, like every rune in this kind of crystal and every rune in another kind. Just, you know, what they had up there they had. But this one I found a Wunjo rune, which I wanted, and a quartz, which I wanted. It's this one has those little sort of, they look like hairs running through it, like a tourmaline quartz, maybe. I'm not a crystal expert, sorry. But it gives it this sort of, not smoky quartz look, but kind of a gray look to it. I fell in love with it, and plus it was exactly what I was looking for anyway. It's a little bit different. It's still carved into the crystal, but it's actually painted on there also, so the rune jumps out at you a little bit more. And it even has this silver, like, edging around it. That's not painted, that's actual, like, silver metal of some sort, all around the edge of it, which I feel like it might even hold up better than my other one. But either way, it's friggin' beautiful, and it was only like $5-6 maybe, like super cheap, super beautiful, and my baby's back. Okay, next piece of pagan, actually all the jewelry that I got are all like kind of Nordic heathen jewelry. But check this one out, guys. You're gonna die. Oh my god, it is an Antler Bindrune. How amazing is that? There is a shop on Etsy, and this woman makes them. It's burnt onto the antler, actually. She has like 9 different Bindrunes for you to choose from. I believe this one she calls wealth. Like a Bindrune to attract wealth or for wealth or whatever. For me, this Bindrune, it's Algies and Fehu. I know, it's so freaking pretty. It's not necessarily about attracting wealth. This is a Bindrune that I've worked with personally before. I love the simple shape, and it's very clearly those 2 runes. But what this sort of means to me is more about having your intentions and what you put out into the world, your projects you're working on, being guarded and protected in that way. So it can have a lot to do with wealth, and it can mean whatever the hell you want it to mean. It's your own Bindrune, you know, whatever intention you put into it. So I like that there's already that intention put into it by her and her artwork, the woman who made it. But yeah, it sort of does its own thing for me. It did not come with this long chain. I put that on there, this bronze chain. I don't know if you guys can see any of this. It came on like a faux leather cord, basically. But look at that, the holes that are drilled into this little, it's from a white-tailed deer, I think, this little antler. It's a really big hole drilled through there, so you can put like any, this is a very thick chain, you could put any chain through there. And again, I think she's selling them for like $3. It came to like 6 or 7 maybe with shipping, and that was through Etsy. Isn't that beautiful? Made me so happy. Okay, one more little piece of jewelry. This will probably look very familiar. Where are you going? Switching sides? All right, she's switching sides. Check it out. I have considered myself a bit of a Norse pagan, heathen, whatever the fuck you want to call me. I've considered myself that since I was a teenager, basically, and I never had a Thors Hammer. I always wanted one, and I finally scooped this guy up. There's so many amazing Thors Hammers out there. Tons of these pewter guys, and they're really very inexpensive. This one I ended up finding on eBay, but I've seen it on Etsy, I've seen it on Amazon, I've seen it everywhere. It's usually classified as like a men's necklace, probably because it's a little bit bigger, and it is fairly hefty and heavy. But I kind of like that. Like, hey, here's my Thors Hammer. Yeah, I always wanted one. I love. Okay, so that is all the jewelry that I got. I do want to say real quick though, I have had several requests from viewers asking to see more of my own catalog of jewelry, I guess you could say. Pagan themed spiritual jewelry and stuff. I do have quite a lot from over the years. I guess I really like jewelry. But I'm so happy to share that with you. I'll definitely make a video showing you guys some more of my jewelry. I love watching other people's jewelry collection videos. It's so much fun. Okay, so that's all the new jewelry. On to my new clothes. It's so silly. But anyway, I found these 2 shirts on different shops on Etsy and just melted. Oh my god, how fucking cool is that? I totally wore them already in videos, so you may have seen them. That is a Metatron's cube, a very beautiful and powerful sacred geometry symbol. Like, there is just so much information in this very simple, beautiful symbol. We'll do more videos, don't worry. But yeah, I found that guy. It's also like a really cool, like loose fitting kind of t-shirt, so very great. For a long time, right, you could only find like pagan shirts and sacred geometry shirts and like any of that sort of niche new agey kind of stuff on like men's shaped t-shirts, and they're hard for women to wear, right? So they lay funny and they're not very comfy. And now it's like you can find really great tank tops and t-shirts that fit women's bodies a lot better, with cool screen printed stuff on them. Check this one out. Can you see that? That is a flower of life up there, and like these little, oh my god, I can't see the camera, sorry. There they are, little like alchemical, what are they, mandrake root kind of things, and even a seed of life down there at the bottom. Oh my god, when I came across this t-shirt, I was like, holy shit, that's my shirt. And I got it in pretty yellow. I will definitely put the shops where I found these guys below. They have, I think both of them have all sorts of other really cool, like, screen print awesomeness. Alright, that's all the clothes I got. On to the books. This is what's been keeping me busy the last couple of weeks. Okay, first up is Meditations on the Tarot. This book has been sitting on my wish list for a really, really long time, but it was a viewer actually made me sort of take the plunge. We were chit-chatting in the comments and stuff, and they recommended it, and I was like, shit, yeah, now's the time. I need to read this book. I haven't delved into it at all just yet. That's what it looks like. Oh, I know, right? By the way, the subtitle here is A Journey into Christian Hermeticism. Come on. Actually, the whole Christian part is sort of what made me stay away from this book, even for a little while. But the last, few years maybe, the term Christianity on things has not put me off like it sort of used to. Esoteric Christianity, there's this other book I read, Inner Christianity, I think. But it's been fascinating to explore Christianity in a different way and in a different light, and through this, especially this way, through the tarot and with Hermeticism. I don't know how to describe it. I think it'll be a really fun journey. Check out how fucking thick this book is. It's amazing. It's huge. How many freaking pages is this guy? Like 700 almost? 657? Yeah, it's huge. It's like the Game of Thrones of tarot books. It came out quite a long time ago. It's kind of an old book. This book actually was originally published in French in 1980 and then originally published in English in 85. So this book's been around for quite a long time. This edition through this publisher, I think, came out in like 2002. This is the only Kindle book that I got. Check that guy out. Oh, that's gonna make the lighting look funny. The Tarot Code. I already read it. I read it in like a day. It was a wonderful, wonderful book that I am definitely going to review. I recently read the Marseille Tarot Towards the Art of Reading, that guy. I know I've talked about it a little bit, and I'm definitely going to do a review of it soon, sorry. But I was in Marseille headspace, and there's so few books out there that talk about Marseille, especially in English. And so after reading that one, I was like totally inspired and got the Tarot Code too. That was a good read. Okay, this one I got just for a few bucks on like eBay or something. Spiritual Tarot. It is by 3 authors. I'll put all the information down below. Basically, this is a Rider-Waite-Smith tradition book. It looks pretty basic. There's 3 cards, or 3 decks that they use throughout the whole book. Can you see that down there? They use the Rider-Waite, the Morgan Greer, and the Aquarian Tarot. So it is heavily steeped in Rider-Waite-Smith tradition. It goes through each card, it gives the information on spreads, and actually it looks like there's a lot of cool spreads back here. And it seems to try to come at the tarot from a little bit more of a spiritual perspective. I can't speak too much to it. The subtitle is 78 Paths to Personal Development. But yeah, I can't speak too much about it. I haven't read it yet, but that'll be fun. Even though I know I try not to shit on a Rider-Waite-Smith tradition. I love a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I work very closely with it, have for a long time. The issue that I have with the tradition is that I personally, at a certain point, started to feel very boxed in, and like the understanding of the cards wasn't expansive enough and didn't cover with things that I thought should be getting covered. Yeah, so that's just sort of where I come from. It does not stop me from still picking up books like this and reading and learning more about the cards, even if it does stick to a Rider-Waite-Smith tradition. I still, in most cases, find a lot of really, really wonderful, helpful information to me. We're always learning more. So yeah, it's another old book actually. It came out in '96, I think, originally. Spiritual Tarot. But yeah, I still very much love a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I think it is one of the most beautiful and intricate and deep decks that has ever been made. I am obsessed with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And the tradition is a sort of tradition that's sprouted around the entire deck when we talk about a Rider-Waite-Smith tradition now, and that style of reading and that way of interpreting cards. I think is so valuable, and I still rely very heavily on a lot of what I learned from the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition. I enjoy it, and I don't mean to ever put it down. If I speak about it that way, it's just because I came to that point where I just couldn't work with it anymore. But I know lots of people are so comfortable, and it works so well for them, and that's where they feel at home, and I have nothing against that, not at all. I would still recommend people start with a Rider-Waite-Smith deck and read Rider-Waite-Smith tradition books to learn the tarot. I think it's the best way to get into it, probably because there's just so much information on it out there. That it's great. It's easy to find and easy to work with, and I have a lot of respect for it. All right, so next book. Let me give you a little background here. So I started. I was sat down to review a deck called Navigators Tarot of the Mystic Sea, or Navigators of the Mystic Sea Tarot, whatever the fuck it is. A deck that I adore and love and have worked with for years. I love that deck. And I started jotting down my notes, what I was going to say for this review I was going to film. And it occurred to me that there is a guidebook for this deck that I never got my hands on and always really wanted. I wanted to understand a little bit more about all the symbolism that she put into the artwork on the cards. And I just had never scooped it up, so I thought that it was time to finally get the guidebook. I'm pretty much done reading it. I have a little bit more to go, but the book is also by Julia Turk, who does the artwork for the beautiful tarot deck. I'm not going to talk too much about this guy because I'm going to get a review up hopefully very soon, and I don't regret getting the guidebook for this deck, guys. It's a good read. I'll go into details on it later. Okay, so that is all of the tarot books that I got. 4 books, Jesus Christ. The next, I have 3 more books that I got here, and they are all sort of Norse path books. I've not gotten a new book on a Norse paganism or anything like that in quite a while. But this is the first one I scooped up. Fairly recent book, Northern Tradition for the Solitary Practitioner, by Galina Krasskove, who I love, and Raven Kaldera, 2 very big names. So I haven't read it yet, but I did, skim through it and realized there is an entire 30 pages, it looks like, devoted to pagan prayer beads, Norse pagan prayer beads. How fucking cool is that? I had no idea that was even in this book. I just did a whole video talking about how I, as a Norse pagan, use my pagan prayer beads, or use prayer beads. So this is gonna be so cool to read. I'm so friggin' excited. So I did read sort of, I want to say the first chapter here or something. It made my brain go into a bit of a spin. I get why, I get why this stuff was included in here. Basically what it is them talking about the different ways to sort of categorize this entire sect almost of beliefs in the northern tradition, if we can use that as some sort of a definition. It gets a little crazy though. It's like, neo-paganism, Germanic neo-paganism, Norse Wicca, Anglo-Saxon Wicca, Reconstructionist derived heathenry, northern tradition paganism, and on and on and on. Heathen this and Asatru and Odinism, and it's kind of crazy. I didn't see myself even represented in any of the ones that they were talking about. Don't know why they don't have a separate definition for a Theosophic Norse eclectic pagan. Come on. Those discussions just send my head into a tailspin. But yeah, it's only a small part in here. The rest they sort of get into, I don't know, I haven't read it yet. Meditation and prayer and rites and different ritual work. It looks wonderful. I love these kind of books. You know, I take what I want, and usually I get some good stuff out of it. Up next, we have Icelandic Magic by Stephen E. Flowers. I love that guy. It is Practical Secrets of the Northern Grimoires. And it looks so cool. I haven't really dug into this one yet either, but it looks like it goes over different ways to practice Galder and different magic, and look at all these amazing, like, Galdra staffiers. See all them? I love all this shit. What else? The Theory and Practice of Galdra Sign Magic. Legends and Lore of Iceland's Magicians. I'm getting all giddy and excited. It's even a layout, how to set up an altar and work a spell, basically. Creating the sign, anchoring, charging the sign, break from the sign, closing. I even have things written in Icelandic. I love using, other languages, Old Norse or Icelandic in my workings and stuff. Look at this. There's even like Norse magic squares with the runes. Can you see that? I can't wait to dig into this one. It looks absolutely amazing. All right, and lastly, I have Trolldom. How cool is that book? It's like a really meaty, big size too. Trolldom, Spells and Methods of the Norse Folk Magic Tradition. Oh my god! By Johannes Bjorn Gardback or Gardback? Gardback sounds cool. Yeah, again, there's it's all folksy stuff. It looks like, what did I see? Lots of traditional spells and formulas and things like that from Norway and Sweden from the 18th and 19th century. To attract a lover, to remove toothache with a coffin nail, the 12 apostles against toothache. Just this stuff looks absolutely fascinating. First of all, historically, it's just fascinating to read this kind of stuff. I love all this stuff, but it'll also give me great ideas for things that I can do myself. I'm sure I'll tweak things and make them my own, but I love getting ideas from old sources like this. This is such an amazing accomplishment. Look, there's just tons and tons of stuff in here. Break the curse that broke up a marriage, Sweden, 19th century. Protect oneself from homesickness. This is so cool. It looks like some of them use herbs and things like that, and some of them are just, things to say, little prayers and things like that. Fishing luck. I love this. This just looks amazing. Sorry. For all of these, I will, at some point talk about them again and hopefully review them. Okay, here was another Etsy find, and I scooped this guy up. Check that out. It is a clear, like, glass candle holder. Basically, it just has a sticker on the front of it. But isn't that beautiful? If you know me, you know I love old alchemical drawings and alchemical symbolism and just alchemy in general. And this is an old alchemical drawing. Isn't that beautiful? It's actually one of my favorites. I adore this image. I won't get into it, but this male and female united, and it's a beautiful, famous image. It came with a little guy in here to put a little tea light in. It didn't come with a tea light. I put that in there. So you could put a big, like, pillar candle in here, and when you light it, it sort of glows from behind, and it looks like it's all illuminated. It's absolutely gorgeous. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep it on my altar or back here, or what exactly I'm going to do with them just yet. But one of the reasons why I did want to get it, it wasn't super expensive, maybe like 20 bucks, so it wasn't cheap either. But I really wanted to see how they put it together. I think this might be a project that I make for myself down the road too. You can buy, stickers, print, like sheets of paper that are stickers unto themselves, and you just print out whatever picture, and then you peel it off and you have a big sticker you cut out and you can put right on here. And I could do that with like a tarot card or more alchemical images or images of Odin and gods and things like that, and make my own like altar candles. So it's really all it is. It looks like it's just a sticker, so I'm totally gonna try making this myself. But I will put the name of the shop where I got this. They have some other really, really cool ones too. But I think you can find these, you know, these candle holder things at like Target or Walmart or wherever, like really cheap. Do some more projects. Okay, on to the last fun things I got. The decks, that's right. I scooped up a few more decks. These are all from Amazon. They are very, very easy to find, very inexpensive decks. These are them. 1, 2, 3. I haven't picked out charms for them yet, but this is what they are. We got Vikings Tarot. And I finally got my hands on these two. The Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith and the Universal Weight. I know, you already had so many Rider-Waite-Smith decks. What I have, let me explain myself here. What I have are 4, I guess 5 really decks, but of the different original Pamela Colman Smith artwork Rider-Waite-Smith decks. I have the Albano White and the Centennial Edition and the original and all that. These decks, while they are basically, you know, your regular Rider-Waite-Smith, they have been redrawn and recolored. These are not her original artwork, even though the excuse me, I keep burping. The Universal Weight does still have Pamela Colman Smith's signature on it. It was just copied that way. Both these have been completely redrawn, but I was always so interested in them. First of all, it's great to have, you know, a Rider-Waite-Smith deck that looks different and is a little bit different. But this really, they kind of copied it exactly like how it is and then recolored it. Of course, you know, the Universal is a much softer, sort of serene version, and the Radiant Rider-Waite sort of screams at you. It's really bright and in your face and very colorful. And it's been really fun playing with both of these. I really wanted to get them. They're something that I always wanted to be in my collection. But it wasn't something that I was going to get for a long time because there were so many decks out there that I really wanted to get for very specific reasons. I wanted to learn from this deck, or sometimes I just really thought ones were really pretty and filled a spot in my collection. But these were ones that I was definitely holding off until I got sort of everything that I really wanted to learn from in a deck. And upon getting that last 2 Pappas decks, those were like the 2 big ones on my list, I was like, all right, you can sort of start collecting just for fun. And that's what this is, just for fun. They're certainly not decks that are going to take a long time to get to know. I already know Rider-Waite-Smith. But I think it'll be fun to do some future videos with them too. I'll show you guys the differences in these 2 decks and compared to you know, Pamela Colman Smith's original artwork decks. I think it'll be cool. We'll do all that. And the Vikings Tarot was something that I loved the idea of, but it just wasn't something that I had to have. I think it'll be fun to play with. I'm not sure how I feel about it just yet. I love that it references myths that I am so familiar with, and the artwork is actually really, really beautiful. You don't even actually notice all the Lo Scarabeo writing all over it, because it is one of those Lo Scarabeo decks, like the 50 different languages all over it. But because they changed the font, honestly, why changing the font made like a huge difference. It doesn't jump out at me as much. But it's a very Rider-Waite-Smith based deck too. And the myths that they chose to illustrate each card and illustrate each concept and the energies of the card, I'm not sure how I feel about. Myth is just such a personal thing for me. But yeah, I'm playing with it. It's fun. I always wanted a Viking themed tarot deck or Norse themed tarot deck. And this is the one that I sort of settled on in the end. There's maybe 4 or 5 decks like that out there. Some are very hard to find and a little bit more obscure. And even though I identify as a Norse pagan, I wasn't drawn to any of them. Like, I had to have them because there's just a bit of a disconnect in there somewhere. And this one seemed the least disconnected. Yeah, I'll review it at some point and talk a little bit more about why I disagree with some of the myths they chose and all that. Is that everything? Did we go over everything already? I think we did. Well. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll be back real soon. Mwah, bye.